I do this all the time where I go on mute and you can't hear me at all. I'm Mary Witter. I am a gerontologist, the owner of About Senior Solutions, and you are watching Visionary Aging. We have a fantastic show today, and we're really going to focus on caregiving and taking care of yourself as a caregiver. And we have an incredible man turning 100. He's going to be jumping out of an airplane, celebrating his time as a paratrooper. This man he will put you all to shame as far as his workouts. It's incredible. We're going to talk with Melinda about that as well. And I think Steve McCullough has a great caregiver question. We also have a very dear friend and fantastic caregiver, Joan DeSouza, on with us today. And she's going to talk about the tips and the things that she learned for herself and in taking care of her parents, and share this with you so that you can learn and experience get some tips, really. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to switch over to Steve. Hold on. Hey, Steve, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, so today's all about caregiving, and I know you plucked one of your questions up, and it's related to caregiving. So tell me what it's all about.
Sure. So this question is, I'm taking care of my dad, and he's driving me crazy. I need extra help. What can I do?
Well, there are a variety of programs. I say try to put your team together. So who's in your team? And if there are no family, no friends, let's start looking at some of the resources that are available to you. Actually, and we'll probably have Yvonne on the show, who is part of the USC Family Caregiver Resource, and they can offer for free some respite. If your loved one is on hospice, they also have respite available, very short periods of time where they may be able to move someone for a weekend and you can take care of yourself and replenish yourself. But mostly, I think you just don't want to get into that dark, deep abyss. There are wonderful caregiver support group meetings. Many are online right now. Some are meeting in person. We have several there. Honestly, if you're having trouble like that, we're happy to talk with you in our office. That number is 626-358-7555. Oh, what am I saying? 7556? 7556? What is that number? That's my own phone number. Our office number is 359-0108. Do that one. That one will work, and somebody will actually talk to you. So that's funny. That's funny. It just came out of the blue. That's still the number I have to use at Bonds to punch in for my discount. That's why I still know that phone number. Anyway, hang out at the end of the show. We'll talk a little bit if you're available. And in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and talk about this incredible senior. Oh, no, you know what? I'm going to bring Joan on right now. So let's bring Joan on first. Okay. And we'll talk a little bit about her experience as a caregiver. I'll introduce you. Hi, Joan. How are you? Oh, unmute. Yes, I can use that. Yeah. I have the magic buttons. But
yeah.
I thank you for coming on today.
Absolutely.
You are the daughter, the primary caregiver for both of your parents who lived up north. And share a little bit about your caregiver's journey.
Well, they lived in Northern California for 53 years, and then my brother decided to move them down here, and it's like, okay, now what, right? So thankfully, I knew you, Mary, and so you were the first resource, and you mentioned the word team. And I started to build a team so that, my mom and dad would feel comfortable, because they were being moved from Northern California to Southern California. That's like being moved to another country, okay, as far as they were concerned. Yeah. So we moved them into an assisted living, and then Dad broke his hip and we had to move him to another assisted living because they had the health center. So it was a transition for both my mom and dad. Both of them were very independent people. And it was interesting, Steve, your question, or from that person, you know, the person's driving me crazy. What I found with mom and dad is that these places are great, but they all think that seniors, all they do is play dominoes and bingo. And that's not the case. So I found people that my mom and dad were interested. My dad graduated from MIT. So I called MIT, and we had MIT people come to visit Dad, and he was in seventh heaven, you know. Same with my mom.
I remember that, Joan. In fact, yeah. I remember thinking, not knowing my naivety, right? Not knowing, well, we have Caltech right here. And still, there was really amazing minds, right? But it's like, oh, no, MIT and Caltech.
I did the same thing, Mary. I went on Caltech with my dad when he was, you know, younger, and I said, oh yeah, I'm going to take you to your sister university, and he goes, what sister university? I said, well, Caltech. He goes, oh, that's not our sister. I was like, okay.
Once a rival, always a rival.
That's right, exactly. And then my mom was an avid member of DAR, so I had DAR members come to visit her and chat with her, because then it made them feel more at home, more comfortable. They were with people they didn't know, and they were playing dominoes, and they didn't want to do that. And, you know, so really reach out to find out what your parents like, or what they do, or anybody that you're going to caregive. It doesn't have to be your parents, any adult. Find out what their likes are, not yours, what their likes are. It's so important to listen to our seniors and find out, you know, what they want to do. So. But anyways, after that, we when my mom passed first, and we knew my dad. They were married for 64 years, so we knew that Dad would be very sad by himself. And so we decided to, my husband and I decided to figure out how we could move him into our home. At that point, he was in a wheelchair, in one of those power wheelchairs. He stood 6'1", 240 pounds. So we had to figure out, okay, how are we going to do this? And so we gutted out our bathroom and made it into an ADA bathroom. We also have a step down from the living room into the family room. So we built 2 ramps so he could kind of tool around the house as he wanted. And we also had those chairs, those electric chairs that can basically stand them up, you know, if they wanted to. And then I just made sure that there were things that he wanted to do during the day. He loved the news, so we'd have him watch CNN. We also, he was hard of hearing, and of course his hearing aids never worked. They did, but they didn't, right? As far as he was concerned. So we were being blasted out of our house. So we convinced him, and we found some really great, you know, headsets for him so he could hear and we could hear. So, and then I just built my team, Mary. I mean, you, like I said, you were my first resource, and I ended up finding someone to come and cut my dad's hair at the house. A manicure came and did a manicure for him. I had a doctor that took care of his feet because he was diabetic. I had a great home health care group that came in. You name it, I found it so that they could come here, because it was very difficult for me to get a 240-pound man into my car. And even that was an adventure. We ended up leasing a car, not because we liked the color or the style. It was because we could fit my dad and his equipment into the car. So, yeah, I think you and I have talked, you know, the two of us should write a book of all the things that I learned and what I did. So.
Oh yeah, no, I think you're a great gift to other people too, going through a similar situation. And the local resources here are fantastic. There are many in the country. It's just a matter of getting to know what to use or what to reach out to. And what were the things? Because you were there every day for your parents when they were in the community. What things did you do to replenish yourself? Going back to our caregiver question from earlier, I'm sure there were times when you felt burned out too. What did you do so that you were replenishing?
Well, I think with, you know, when they were in the assisted living, that wasn't as hard because, you know, I would spend my time with them and then I would go and do my things. I'm very involved in the community. I was a member of I'm still a member of several chambers, was on the board of the Pasadena Chamber. You name it, I do it as far as networking. And you know that, Mary. But so that would help me get out in the community. And while I was doing that, I actually found resources for mom and dad. And then when dad moved in with us, I would just, again, make sure that when a caregiver came to help dad, I would go and do, an errand, or I would go to a meeting, or, just something so that I was still keeping my mental, part strong. Because there was many a time when I would talk to my MIT father and he would answer me as if I were his 10-year-old daughter. So, and in that part, you just have to kind of, you go with it. I mean, yes, there's times when I'd go around the corner and go, and that's okay too. I'm just really, really bad, because dad lived another 4 years after my mom passed. And I really believe it was because I took the time, and my husband, to help him medically, because I found a great endocrinologist that, helped me regulate his the numbers, and, and then we have an amazing pharmacist that really helped me as well. You just kept building on the team so that he was happy. But what's so important is you always need to find out what the senior wants, not what you want, what the senior wants. So, and then that'll make your life easier, because then they'll be happy.
Yeah, I totally agree. And you know what I'm going to do too is I'm just going to pull up our little magic planning wheel here, since we can do a little Foursquare. And you're absolutely right. So we always look at the wishes of the individual and how can we keep them safe. And so sometimes people want things that are a little off track and are not going to keep them safe. So absolutely looking at that. And then their finances. How can we make all of these things work in an affordable way that fits for that particular person? And Joan, I think you were always super conscious of that, in making sure that you were really focusing on his wishes and keeping him safe. And I know that they had the means to do quite a bit for themselves. And I think you did a beautiful job. And I think you're still doing a beautiful job sharing your story and helping other people with the transition from just being a daughter to being a caregiver. And you have to still maintain that level of still being the daughter and finding those extra support team members through nursing and doctors and care. And you did a great job.
Yeah, just yesterday, a friend reached out and wanted my resources for caregivers and for hospice, because both mom and dad were on hospice at the end. And so it makes me feel good that I can offer information that worked for me. And then I hope it works for them. But I always tell them, if it doesn't, there's other resources. So just reach out to those resources. Sure. Not every caregiver is going to be the right one for you. And so keep looking. And what I found from the caregivers, because I, used caregivers who worked at the assisted living when they were not working there, they have the unbelievable network amongst caregivers. They all know each other, and they all, can help you. If they can't do it, they'll have somebody that can help you. It's an amazing network. So.
Yeah, it is. I want to add one caveat too, just because California has changed some of the rules with caregivers, and making sure that if you do hire somebody directly, that you want to follow some of the rules, because you are now the employer of record. Right. And I know you followed all of the things. It may have even been before the rules were even in place, actually, when you were taking care for your dad. But that is something I do want to just bring up to people, because we have all kinds of crazy situations coming out of that. Yeah. So.
We talked to our insurance and made sure we had all the insurance to cover both the caregiver in our home and and my dad, because he was in a power wheelchair, and so if there were any accidents there, we need to make sure that he was covered. So yes, all of that is a part of it too.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, the insurance is an interesting aspect.
Yeah.
So your biggest takeaway, and you know what? Before that, you talked about your networking. Why don't you share a little bit about what you do? I know you have B for B. Just share a little bit about you personally.
Well, for years I was the customer service manager at the Los Angeles Times, and I loved working there. But they had a great offer, and I took it. And then I did a couple of fun things in between. But being the vice chair of membership for the chamber, it really concerned me that these businesses, small to medium-sized businesses, they come in with a great idea. They don't always come in with a business plan or an accountant, or they just come in with a great idea and they're going to make it work. And unfortunately, a lot of them falter and then they close. And there's this great new category, a coach. There's a business coach, there's a life coach, there's a you name it coach, but they don't meet the financial needs of the small to medium-sized business. So in my dad's generation, what they used to do, Dad was an administrator of a hospital. Well, they didn't have social media. They didn't have all of the things that we do now. So he and his friends would get together and they'd work it out. So that's what I started. I started a business for business, and I bring business people together, and we put someone in what we call the hot seat. And that person I interview and find out what it is we can help them with, what advice we can give them. And then it's just a very tight agenda for an hour and a half. We're on Zoom. We were in person. And this person has to sit there, and I don't let them talk, because there's this great quote that we don't listen to learn, we listen to reply. And so they have to go quiet and take notes from all of these great ideas that are coming from these other business people. So it really warms my heart, because every month I have 40 to 60 people who give up an hour and a half of their time to help another business person. And we've been doing this for 4 years, and we've helped, I don't know how many businesses, and we're booked through the year. This COVID has really, made it very weird to some people. They had to pivot to know, in order to survive or stay open. So it's really, really, I just love it. Every month I can't wait for the time that we are on the Zoom call. And because of Zoom, we have people from other cities, other states, and I have 2 international participants. So it's really been great.
Really fun. Well, you are truly the resource queen, and I thank you for coming on. I thank you for all of your inspiration and the things that you share with us, and to support businesses too. Congratulations.
Thanks, Mary.
Yeah, thank you so much. Have a great weekend, Joan.
Thank you.
So, honestly, Joan is an incredible individual, and I feel really lucky that we were able to talk with her about her parent situation, and I hope that some of the things may resonate with you out there watching. In fact, I see Suzette is saying this is wonderful. So please feel free to leave your comments and reach out to the office if you need any additional inspiration or resources. Let me see here. I think we even have our quiz question that we can put up here. Oh, yeah, here we go.
I think it was awesome that she was able to bring her dad into the home and have him there, and not, especially after, his wife passed away of, I think she said 64 years.
Yeah.
Such a huge, I'm sure, relief for him to be still with family and people that, he knows and he knew, he recognized, and he loved.
Yeah, just incredibly committed. I know she was there every day, if not twice a day, when they were both in the community too. So really, really wonderful. And I see so many families like this. And like I said, if anybody needs resources, in fact, we have this wonderful quiz online, www.aboutfingersolutions.com. You can go on and see where you are in that journey of planning and understanding your own kind of commitment to what somebody else might need to do for you for care. And I think it's fun, it's quick, it's lighthearted, and provides little resources. So feel free to jump on that and check it out. But we have this man who is absolutely incredible, who just turned 100, and I'm going to share a little bit about him. And I'm going to wave goodbye until after we talk with Melinda. We'll all come back on together, okay?
All right, looking forward to it.
Sounds good.
Hello, is Mary? There you are, Mary.
Sometimes I don't press the right buttons and we go all wonky, but
Yeah.
I was going on and on about Mr. Rice and his incredible jumps over the years, and I then realized I'm muted. I do that.
Oh.
So,
I was trying to text you.
But can
Well,
you
here I
believe?
am at this.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
We're talking about fitness training and getting your fitness on.
I have my 8:30 client here, so I can't stay for very long.
Okay.
But since we're on, I've got the studio behind me, and I just wanted to add to the wonderful conversation in the live stream today, how it's so important, especially when you're providing care to someone, to make sure that you're caring for yourself. And there's the thing I like to recommend to clients is there's 7 different types of rest. And Mary, you probably know the 7 different types of rest, yeah? There's
yeah, I think it's important.
Yeah, physical rest, mental rest, emotional rest, social rest, creative rest, spiritual rest, and sensory rest.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important to kind of give ourselves all those different types of rest. You know, sometimes people will, you know, come in and say like, I'm so stressed out, I'm so tired all the time. And it's really because they haven't given themselves like the mental rest or the emotional rest, even though maybe they've been getting a lot of sleep at night or something and given themselves the physical rest. So I think those are important things for us to think about, especially, you know, when we have the beautiful and wonderful but very big job of caring for another person.
I think you're absolutely right. And, you know, that is so interesting, actually. I think it's something we need to post and make sure that we can all see later and address. And I know when I'm feeling that I don't have that creative rest or that spiritual rest, every single one that you mentioned, I can feel when I'm missing something like that. And it is important to divide it out and look at some of those things in separation and not just plain old rest. It is something that we need from each component of our world or our mental health.
Yeah, and the sensory rest is a big deal now because we're always on our phones. We're always, we're always connected to some type of device. So that can be kind of overloading, especially when we live in a big city. So there's a lot going on.
Great information. I'll let you get with your clients because I know that they want to work out and have a good workout. But you have a great weekend, and maybe we can watch
see you next week.
Repeat of Tom jumping out of that plane.
Yes, that's really exciting. I've done it twice. It's pretty impressive that he does that at 100.
I know, and doing CrossFit too. Amazing.
That's wild. Yeah.
All right, my friend. Have a great weekend. I love that. I love the 7 types of rest. I'm going to bring Steve back on and see what he has to say about that too. So let's see. I can push another button here.
Hello. I was trying to text you too.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible. I feel horrible. We'll try to clip that out, those parts out. Although his picture was really nice. He doesn't even look 100.
Right. I don't even know what 101 looks like anymore. It's becoming so much more commonplace, which is great.
Yeah, but I just incredible when you see somebody walking like they're 50 years old. Mentally, I'm sure he's 25, and but he's always been a thrill seeker too. So he's still seeking the thrill.
It keeps you young.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm going down to the Dell next weekend, not this weekend, unfortunately. What kinds of plans do you have for the weekend?
It's been a long week at the office, so I'm hoping to just kind of catch up on, some stuff around the house and get ready for, the long week coming up again. So just
there you go.
Not much, just little errands, honey-do list.
Sounds good. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say farewell for the week, and you stay well. And anybody who needs any resources, please feel free to give us a call. We'll go ahead and just run that little crawler really fast.
I like Melinda's intro, by the way.
Oh, isn't that great? Yeah, I like
Thank
it.
you for
I like
joining.
it too. Yeah, it's sweet. It represents her, like her nutrition and fitness background. I think it's really important.
Absolutely.
So, but if you need us, reach out. We've got our website right here scrolling along, aboutseniorsolutions.com. And you know what? We also have a free journal that you can download off of the website. So it's kind of neat. You can go in and it has tons of different questions for reminiscing, and it will create a really neat book of memories for you. So feel free to download that for free. But in the meantime, have a fantastic weekend, and we will see you next week.
Good.
All right. Thanks.